Every January, a tiny alpine town becomes the most powerful place on Earth. Snow falls over glass chalets, black cars glide through fog, helicopters cut across the sky, and inside a maze of security checkpoints, the world's most powerful people gather to fix global problems. Presidents, billionaires, central bankers, tech founders, they talk about equality, sustainability, the future of humanity. Then they fly home in private jets, and the world somehow looks worse. The rich get richer. The poor fall further behind, and the same system continues untouched, only rebranded. Welcome to the financial timeline, where money, power, and history collide. And nothing is ever as simple as it looks, because the real story of Davos isn't a secret conspiracy. It's hiding in plain sight. Its influence isn't whispered behind closed doors. It's announced on stage, in press releases, and in carefully crafted speeches. The World Economic Forum, the WEF, has no voters, no borders, no democratic mandate. Yet for over 50 years, it has shaped how markets move, how policies form, and how the world defines progress. To understand its power, you have to understand where it began. It started in 1971. A young German engineer named Klaus Schwab invited 450 executives to a Swiss resort. The plan was simple, a conference about management theory. But the timing was explosive. That same year, the United States abandoned the gold standard. Inflation was rising. The post-war economic order was collapsing. Governments were losing control of the global economy. Corporations were discovering they didn't need governments to grow. Schwab's conference arrived exactly when the world's power was shifting from nations to markets. Davos offered something revolutionary, a safe, neutral space where CEOs, economists, and politicians could coordinate without public oversight. No voters, no parliaments, no politics, just power. Switzerland, wealthy, discreet, and famous for its banks, became home to the world's new borderless council. Not a government, not a democracy, a network. As the oil shocks of the 1970s and economic chaos spread, Davos found its purpose. Governments were in crisis. Corporations were adapting faster, and Schwab gave them a stage. By the 1980s, Davos wasn't a meeting, it was an institution, an unofficial parliament of globalization. In 1992, it rebranded itself with a name that sounded almost official, the World Economic Forum. But it was still a private foundation. No treaties, no oversight, no public funding. Yet presidents and prime ministers began making the annual pilgrimage, eager to be photographed among the global elite. CEOs came to influence regulation. Central bankers came to signal markets. Politicians came to prove their countries were open for business. Davos didn't conquer power. It attracted it. After the Soviet Union collapsed, capitalism stood alone. No rival ideology, no competing world order. Davos seized the moment. It rebranded profit as progress, efficiency as virtue, globalization as inevitable. CEOs, ministers, oligarchs, and technocrats from every continent made the pilgrimage to the Alps. Davos became the Vatican of globalization. Membership fees became the gatekeeper. A basic membership cost around $60,000. Strategic partners like Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, Pfizer, BP paid over $600,000. In exchange, they got private access to the people who write laws, control central banks, and shape the global economy. The public speeches about equality and sustainability. That's the theater. The real business happens in quiet rooms. No cameras, no votes, no accountability. Nothing illegal. Nothing hidden. Just alignment. Every year brings a new slogan. The Fourth Industrial Revolution. The Great Reset. Stakeholder capitalism. They sound visionary, but they always point in the same direction. Policies that stabilize, protect, and expand global capital. The Great Reset, announced during the pandemic, promised fairness and sustainability, but the practical outcome was predictable. massive public spending, digital infrastructure, green initiatives, billions flowing into private hands. Davos isn't a conspiracy. It's a narrative machine. It shapes the vocabulary that governments use to write laws. It defines the morals markets claim to follow. When corporations that profit from pollution sponsor climate panels, that's not hypocrisy. It's strategy. If you control the language of reform, you never have to face the cost of it. By the 2000s, the WEF didn't just host conferences. It built a culture. Its Young Global Leaders program groomed future presidents, ministers, and CEOs who all spoke the same language of progress, innovation, and inevitability. Davos didn't need secret plans. The people who attended already believed the same things. That's the real influence. Shared assumptions. No orders. Just alignment. While activists protest in the snow outside, rows of private jets lined the airport. Inside, champagne glasses clink beneath banners about carbon neutrality. The contradictions don't weaken Davos. They reinforce it. To skip Davos is to admit to attend is to enter the room where narratives are set. Deals are made quietly. Partnerships are built quietly. Markets are shaped quietly. Davos doesn't solve global crises. It manages them in ways that protect those already in control. Every problem becomes an opportunity. Climate, chained investment products, poverty impact markets, public health, private infrastructure, nothing is rejected. Everything is absorbed. That's why Davos feels immune to criticism. It's not an ideology, it's a framework. A framework where rebellion looks like participation. But something is changing. Outside those glass walls, trust is collapsing. Inequality is rising. Populism is growing. People feel decisions are being made far away by people they never meet. They're not wrong. The machinery of global coordination has outgrown democracy's ability to control it. Davos once symbolized collaboration. Now it feels like the command center of a disconnect. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as intended. But history is clear. Empires built on moral certainty always collapse under their own logic. Rome had senators. The church had cardinals. The modern world has Davos. The names change. The ritual stays. And one day, maybe sooner than they expect, the illusion of benevolence will crack. The next reset won't come from a conference. It'll come from below, because in every era, the people who believe they can manage the world eventually learn they were only managing themselves. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers, and I'll show you where to look.